What's good with you guys? It's your boy Devo here, and I'm back with another reaction video. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be checking out 10 most paused moments in WWE by WrestleMania. The link to the original video will be in the description. You guys want to check it out for yourself. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. You know what I'm saying? Not too much to talk about. The title of the video is pretty straightforward, so let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
oh boy,
stay tuned for a big surprise.
The most paused moments in WWE. Number 1, the cat at Armageddon 1999. Now, what's the first thing that you remember about the Armageddon 1999 pay-per-view? Was it the main event of the Big Boss Man versus Big Show for the WWF Championship? Was it the Rock and Sock Connection versus the New Age Outlaws? No, it was probably Miss Kitty's match in an evening gown pool match for the WWF Women's Championship. Okay, fair enough.
They were doing anything back then with women, man. Like, they were doing just anything, bro. Like, what is that, bro? That's like, man. That's how you know that man was a freak, bro.
Whilst the match was just for eye candy, it was more what happened after the match than what happened during it. As after the match, Miss Kitty revealed a little too much of herself, leading to Sergeant Slaughter covering her up. And no doubt this was paused by many fans watching the show, trying to pause their VCR just at the right moment. Now the reality is that pro wrestling was geared towards men, and during the Attitude Era, Jim Ross explained on his podcast that showing Miss Kitty topless was a way to try and entertain men 18 to 34. If you're a marketer or a business person, you know that demographic likes that kind of thing. Pro wrestling is a male show. If you lose your males, you're out of business. Now, Miss Kitty is definitely not a name that is fondly remembered for her wrestling skills. She was essentially a model hired to entertain the male demographic at the Attitude Era.
That's what I'm talking about. They were just doing anything. Like, if you were a woman back then in WWE, that's literally all you were used for. It was just looks. Now, shout out to Lita and Trish Stratus because, you know what I'm saying, they kind of took that away. And China as well. They kind of took away from that, you know what I'm saying, and showcased their ability to go in the ring and put on the show without having to get damn near naked. So shout out to them, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, bro, that man Vince.
The body as well as other things.
Crazy, bro.
Say what you want about the moment, but you'll be hard pressed to find a male fan who skipped the opportunity to see some topless action without paying $9.99. Number 2, the first bra and panties match.
Again,
now we did mention that WWE was definitely male orientated during the mid-90s, but this match was the first of its kind. Now Lita and Trish are revered as some of the best women's wrestlers to ever step into the ring, but WWE was still in their Attitude Era phase, so the company still felt that it was important to hit that magic quota in the 18 to 34 male demographic. WWE had their evening gown matches, but this was the first ever bra and panties match.
That's crazy, bro.
This was two women trying to strip each other down to their undies, and it was a source of entertainment. This match was actually for the WWE Women's Championship, but realistically, that didn't matter. The point was to see two hot women in their bra and panties, and the fans got what they were looking for. There was no doubt a number of fans ready to pause the moment when Trish Stratus stripped down to right to her undies. Number 3, the TLC Edge's spear off the ladder. Now what's one moment that gets played over and over again in WWE's history? That's Edge spearing Jeff Hardy out of his socks at WrestleMania 17. Now TLC 2 redefined what the ladder match was and showcased just how amazing the tag team division was in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I know I literally just said that but Trish Stratus and Lita didn't have to do that type of stuff to get over, and then of course the next clip is literally them doing that type of stuff. So it kind of hold me, but yeah. That's just crazy, bro. Cause like they don't need to strip to be able to. I mean, that was just Vince, man. That was just Vince.
Edge did something that was never seen before. Well, on pay-per-view at least. As this spot had actually been done on television before all of the crazy indie spots with kicks, flips, and moves that you could only dream of. Pro wrestling wasn't as crazy when it came to spots during this era, so Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off the 20-foot ladder was something fresh and exciting, plus it exemplified the beautiful madness of the TLC match. As we mentioned, there was plenty of great spots and a couple of cool callbacks to their previous TLC encounter on SmackDown, but that one moment helped define what a TLC match is, and it's a huge reason why WWE continuously spotlights it every time a video plays to recall the history of WWE. You could even pause a moment where Edge almost knocks himself out due to the impact he took on the ring mat. Number 4, Randy Orton threw thumbtacks, the most painful spot ever. Randy Orton arguably had the best match of his career at Backlash 2004. That night, the third-generation star fought the most dangerous face of the three Foleys, that being Cactus Jack.
Yep.
It was a brutal and violent match that cemented the WWE Hall of Famer as one of the greatest hardcore wrestlers ever, and it was the breakout match that Orton desperately needed. Now, there were numerous memorable spots in the Intercontinental Championship match, whether it was Foley raking Orton's face with a barbed wire bat or him threatening to burn the pretty boy to a crisp. However, it was the moment that Orton's back hit the thumbtacks that got numerous pauses. At first, Orton did an amazing sell job here. Well, we say it's a sell, this must have been legitimately painful. This was the first time he was in such a hardcore match, so his reaction was simply perfect, and the camera nicely caught the hundreds of tacks that were up and down Orton's back. Fans may have been skeptical during this time, thinking that the thumbtacks were fake, but when you zoom into Orton's back, you can tell that these were 100% real. Both men have looked fondly back on this match, including Randy Orton. He's thanked Foley on numerous occasions for helping him pass the torch to a young and upcoming superstar. Number 5. Edge and Lita, a live celebration. Now, many fans were curious on whether WWE would actually go through with a live celebration on television. It was a temptation that most fans couldn't ignore, as 5.2 million viewers were curious about Lita and Edge going one-on-one in a bed in the ring. In fact, it was the highest Raw rating in over a year. Now, most fans knew that Lita and Edge weren't going to actually have sex in front of a live audience, but it was intriguing over what they were going to do that sparked everyone's curiosity. Now, this segment comes with some controversy, as Lita didn't want to do it in the first place. She felt uncomfortable with such a moment in front of millions of people, and according to the WWE Hall of Famer, Vince McMahon threatened to fire her if she didn't go through with it.
Like I've been saying, Vince. That is Vince. You're going to threaten to... You're gonna threaten to fire her because she doesn't want to get naked in front of millions of people. She's a professional wrestler. She's not a porn star. Like, what are we doing, bro? That's this man right here. That's all him. That's all him. You want to know what Vince McMahon was about? Boy, this video giving you a good look.
Well, Lita put the issues behind her and went through with the segment. However, in some parts of the segment, it did legitimately get a little heavy. Many fans managed to pause the exact moment. Now, the segment didn't go far as it was supposed to go, as John Cena managed to put a stop to it. It really does suck that Lita was uncomfortable with this moment, but it didn't matter to WWE, who managed to get their viewers and the highest rated Raw. Number 6, Melina's entrance. The most memorable entrance of any era comes from former WWE Divas champion Melina. The valet turned wrestler started out as, well, a valet for the M&M act, and the two things that always stood out about Melina was her screams and her splits. The splits took center stage on a regular episode of SmackDown in December 2005. Joey Mercury and Johnny Nitro were in action, but before the prima donna pretty boy could enter the ring, they decided to give Taz and Michael Cole a special show. That turned out to be Melina doing a special split on the announce table. Number 7, Mickie James makes a suggestive taunt. Now, if there's one thing that Mickie fans will always bring up about the former WWE Women's Champion, was a fantastic feud with Trish Stratus. The story was well written that highlighted how strong of a performer Mickie was, especially when she played a psychopath. But when it comes to the Mickie-Trish feud, there's one moment that particularly stands out, and that's Mickie's suggestion during their match at WrestleMania 22. That came after Mickie grabbed Trish inappropriately to counter the Stratus faction. Considering the nature of the rivalry, the moment wasn't off-brand for the Mickie character, but reportedly Vince McMahon was furious behind the scenes.
So you force somebody to get naked on live TV, or they're going to lose their job. But her grabbing, you know what I'm saying, her area made you furious? Like, you know, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, bro. Like, you can't make this shit up. You're going to actually fire somebody, have them lose their income, their job, can't pay their bills, all kinds of because they wouldn't get naked on live TV. But then you get furious over that. Like, that's up your alley, obviously. That type of shit is up your alley.
In fact, Vince yelled at Mickie about the taunt, and this wasn't a time when WWE was a PG product. It's kind of unknown why Vince became so heated about the moment, as he even told Mickie that they had to edit it out of future replays. I mean, this was WrestleMania 22, where they also had a Playboy pillow fight match where Tori and Candice Michelle were in their bra and panties.
Like, dog, it don't make sense.
Now, the moment can still be found on the internet, but it has been removed out of any WWE replays on their official networks. Number 8, Mankind falls off the Hell in a Cell.
Oh boy,
now, the first ever Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker set the bar on future matches, but Mankind versus The Undertaker easily surpassed that bar. That night, Mick broke his jaw, dislocated his shoulder, bruised his ribs, lost a tooth, and suffered internal bleeding. But Foley has said time and time again that he doesn't regret this infamous match. This bout was unlike anything his fans had seen before. Foley being thrown off the top of the cage is one of the crowning moments from the Attitude Era itself, but so is the unplanned spot of Mankind being chokeslammed through the cage. The fans certainly did see something special because it's been nearly 30 years and many fans have this match in their top 5 moments. There's even some people who feel that there's no other Hell in a Cell match that comes close to Taker and Mankind. However, it's the unforgettable moment of Taker throwing Mankind off the cage that sticks out the most. A moment that has been consistently replayed on WWE television. Number 9, Kevin Owens' headbutt to Vince McMahon. Kevin Owens has had a remarkable career, and there's plenty of incredible moments to choose from. However, Kevin Owens headbutting Mr. McMahon stands out because it harkens back to some of Vince's best feuds in the 90s. Despite Owens being the heel this time, the moment felt reminiscent of the Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince saga, and it was genuinely a shocking moment to see the former chairman beaten like a government mule.
Which is funny because Kevin Owens uses the Stone Cold Stunner, or the Stunner, whatever.
And there is plenty of things that you can call Vince McMahon, and a tough son of a bitch is definitely one of them. Vince insisted on taking a real headbutt, and Kevin Owens revealed during his interview with Chris Van Vliet that he was more than happy to fulfill that request. He just talked all kinds of shit. He's shaking my hand and just saying, I don't remember what he said, but he was really trying to provoke me because he wanted to make sure I was going to lay in that headbutt. Little did he know that I was already planning on laying it in because I had worked for him for 2 years at that point. I wasn't going to miss that chance. So I did it, and yeah, it was a pretty insane moment. When he came up with the blood and everything, I was like, whoa, here we go. But my favorite part of that whole thing was after. It was a moment that was only seen. I don't think it was on TV, maybe only caught by digital. As everybody's tending to Vince, I'm walking in the back and turn around to look at the ring. I'm just looking at the ring and I hear kinda like a rumble in the crowd. It's certainly a defining moment in Kevin's career that elevated further into main event status and established him as one of WWE's top stars. And number 10, Randy Orton kisses Stephanie McMahon. Randy Orton kissing an unconscious Stephanie McMahon remains the highest viewed video on WWE's YouTube channel ever. Over 326 million viewers have watched this infamous segment, and it's not hard to understand why. Orton and Triple H get a lot of flack, but the build to their WrestleMania 25 match was tremendous. The segment with Orton DDTing Stephanie was simply perfect, and Triple H was forced to watch his wife and the mother of his kids being beaten by some animalistic psycho. But then Orton did something unexpected, kissed Stephanie as she was out cold. The segment itself is brilliant, and it was an excellent way to put heat on Orton. It was certainly an unforgettable moment that's never been done in WWE. Randy Orton was definitely at his peak here, and you could argue so was Triple H. They may not have stuck the landing perfectly, but their WrestleMania build still remains one of the best in the company's history. But there you have it, folks. 10 of the most paused moments in WWE.
Hey, there you have it, bro. 10 of the most paused moments in WWE. Shout out to WrestleMania for the video. Like I said, the link to the original will be in the description. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe over here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, you know what I'm saying, to WrestleMania as well. And shout out to everybody that has been hitting that subscribe button, like button, comment on the vids. I appreciate y'all, man. And that's really all I got. You know, Vince is a weirdo, but we know that. Yeah, he did. I mean, that whole thing with forcing Lita to do everything, get mad at Mickey. And then you literally had a Playboy match on the show as well. It's just like, bro, you're so like you. Like, how you gonna be that wishy-washy? That you about to make somebody lose their job over? Hey, that's just Vince, man. Like I said, it's just Vince. But that's all I got for you guys. Appreciate y'all for watching. And I will see you guys next time.